Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Bookbinders. Today we're going to be doing something a bit different.
This is really exciting because we are starting a brand new series called Why Are You Still Awake? Which is a podcast series thing full of delusion and full of just random thoughts coming from perhaps your smartest students at your school. No, I'm just kidding. We're definitely not them. Definitely not them.
Jamie. Jamie.
We shouldn't be naming out people. And they might be like very, I don't know, but she's very smart. She's very, very smart. So if you're watching this, Jamie, you're very smart. Anyway, so
That's true because we spread the...
We did send it to a lot of our schoolmates.
Oh, yikes.
Which is they're probably gonna be watching this, and shout out, hi Kale, hi Jamie. I think they both saw our podcast, and they probably don't know that they're being mentioned on our podcast, but shout out to them. They're like really cool people. But this series doesn't really have too much structure. We're going to be analyzing a lot of different things. We could be analyzing anything actually, and it's all based on random topics or stuff that necessarily just fascinates us.
Yeah, and the whole driving point of this podcast series is like doing it at random times. Mm-hmm. So we should do a timestamp. It is currently 2:35 on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday, that's raining, and it's the summer solstice. Additionally, it's like 63 degrees outside wherever we are living. So
the first day
that's
of summer.
really, really fun. Because normally the temperature, actually like this past week, it's been like 80s and 90s. Yesterday was like 88, I think.
Monday was like 90 something.
Yeah.
And then now it's
just 60s. So that's quite delightful. But this podcast is just meant to feed your delusion and to feed all of your random thoughts, and we can discuss anything on this podcast.
We'll discuss everything.
We will discuss everything. Any questions that you guys just want to ask. This is a great outlet for Q&A. Additionally, we can just debate topics. Like a great topic being like. Now I have to think of a great topic. What is a great topic?
Bow ties.
Bow ties.
I don't know.
Are bow ties attractive or not? I vote for no.
Really?
What do you vote for? Now we actually have to debate this. Now we have to go through with this.
You know, not as good as actual ties. Like the...
It depends on what kind of tie it is and how the tie's been worn.
Yeah, you see, bow ties can be...
Bow ties I find particularly repulsive. If you're going to wear a bow tie and you have the intention of rizzing me up, rejected.
They can
respectfully
be attractive, or they can be like clown. You just have to wear it right.
No bow ties, please. Not the regular black tuxedo bow tie, nor a fancy looking bow tie with boats on it. No bow ties.
That's just silly.
No.
That's ridiculous. Why would you wear a bow tie with boats?
I don't know, it's like fancy or something.
Fancy?
No, but if you're going to wear fancy outerwear, I just feel like bow ties are like... See, now if we're okay, here's the thing about bow ties. They can, if we're talking about formal bow ties, like the ones that like men generally wear around their neck and like for dress shirts, or like anything that you would wear with a dress shirt that is like a classic, like that satiny thingy with the like thick kind of bow tie. No. However, if you have like a ribbon and you tie it in a bow around the white shirt,
that's
attractive on both men and women.
Yes.
So yes.
Well, I mean, yes, I would say that. That's much better than a bow tie.
It looks great, and I think as long as you style it in that, like especially like a ribbon kind of satin, rather, that amazing.
Then with like
absolutely
wool pants
amazing.
or a wool skirt or something like that.
I was envisioning like an 1880s like a historian shirt, like Benjamin Franklin kind of shirt with like a nice corduroy skirt for women and like a yellow bow with like curly-ish like platinum brown hair. I don't know. Well, you can't change your hair based on the day. Yeah, that's my idea of like a perfect bow tie outfit, and like knee-high brown boots that look like a wizard's boots. And then for like men, I can't think of how to style this, but I know there's going to be some men out there who can style like a nice ribbon so beautifully. Like, I can see if you like did it around your arms with a white dress shirt, like somewhere around here, like if you laced it up, like this, like your arm, right? And then you have, she can see, but if you were wearing like a white shirt and you had a red ribbon and you laced it up at the sleeves and like tied it around your yeah, you laced it up at the sleeves, it would look amazing.
Lacing in general is just...
Yeah, lacing in general looks beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Like
Corsets.
I've always wanted to have like a fashion corset. Just...
Yeah, definitely. I think corsets are protection. However, the thing... I remember watching Enola Holmes and like the dagger scene where there was like this one like dagger... Yeah, so the dagger scene in Enola Holmes, but thoughts?
On the dagger scene in Enola Holmes?
Well, yeah, sure.
The whole
movie.
What are your thoughts? That dress. The red dress.
The red dress in that movie was definitely... I think all of her outfits were amazing in that movie. And however, I did think Enola was a bit pretentious throughout the whole movie. My favorite character... I don't know. I really liked Tewksbury. Well, I didn't actually like Tewksbury. The thing is... Okay. All of the characters were very subpar. Mm-hmm. They were all on, I mean, all of them were pretty much 4s out of 10s. And then, like, Tewksbury was, like, a 7. So, it was all really subpar.
I didn't really like any of the characters.
Yeah, none of them...
In the first or the second.
No emotional attachment. Like,
yeah, exactly. They were, like, so two-dimensional.
Yeah, they were very two-dimensional. And there was nothing about them that I could necessarily... I mean, I definitely could relate to Enola at some points. But I didn't really, like...
A connection.
Yeah, like, there's some characters that you just have, like... An immense emotional attachment to, like, great example, Emily Dickinson from the Haley Steinfeld's Emily Dickinson. There was so much emotional attachment with that character. Like, at least for me, I really liked the character, and I thought she was such a like passionate, lovable character in that sense, like passionate for her craft, and then of course the romance subplot was amazing. Is it a romance subplot or is it the romance main plot? I'm not really sure, but whatever it was amazing.
I want to watch this show.
You should watch it now.
I need to watch it because my Pinterest feed is basically half that show, and I don't even know why.
Oh, I think it's definitely a nice show. There's some things I'd like to change about the show, but some of the scenes and the way the poetry is described in some of those scenes, I especially love death scenes. Those are really good. All right. Oh, back to the ties. Sorry, we very much described. So we were talking about bow ties, but then that went into ties, but we just briefly touched. So let's talk more about ties.
Like neckties, right?
Like how short?
Okay, I'm a fan of longer. Sometimes the short ones just look like a little bit ridiculous.
I'm a fan of ties, but they have to be worn appropriately.
Yes.
Like I can't handle ties that are just worn with like a regular dress shirt and slacks. Like I mean it's nice.
It looks so golfer dad.
It's golfer dad, but I feel like it's very basic as well. Like if you were wearing a tie with this outfit, I would be like, yeah, it's nice. I mean it's very... See, Charlotte's wearing like this button down like pattern t-shirt with the really dark corduroys and a gray tank top.
Yeah.
Now, if she was wearing a tie with it...
The print is so busy by itself.
Yeah,
that it is. It would...
Well, it depends on what tie. If it was a white tie, perhaps. But,
I don't know. See, I like suits. Ties with suits.
Depends on what kind of suit it is. Everything is dependent for me.
Yeah. Okay,
so, wait, what kind of suit are you talking about?
Like black suit with white dress shirt.
That's the most specific thing I've ever heard in my life.
No, it's literally the most basic thing.
Like, but is it a looser suit? Is it a tighter suit? How is the jacket? What kind of shirt are you wearing? What kind of slacks are you wearing? Like, all the specifics.
The shirt is a white blouse that's more fitted. It could even have the, like, ribbed sewing seams.
Is it tucked in?
It's definitely tucked in. I don't do untucked suit.
Depends. Everything depends.
Okay. if it's like a casual thing, maybe you can untuck. But I mean, there's some photo shoots with like untucked shirts that are. But generally, if you're going out, then I would say tucked with a more fitted, like cigarette style black pants.
Okay.
With heels.
Okay. What kind of heels?
Black heels or red heels.
Are they red bottoms?
Red,
like the Louis Vuitton, like.
Yeah. Those are good.
Like the black and the red bottoms. Why am I trying to demonstrate what they look like? Fitted jackets.
Fitted jackets.
That's interesting because I've always been absolutely fascinated with the model off-duty kind of look, like Hailey Bieber, loose suit. I mean, Justin Bieber also did that, but I'm very much obsessed with the like black thing, but then it's not like super tight because I feel like tighter suits they kind of look a little bit, I don't know, I feel like they're very restrictive. Yeah. And with this like looser suit, there's so much flow and movement that it just adds this character to an outfit. I'm not a fashionista. Like I don't know anything about fashion, but I do know about like personalities and characters and how to depict someone. Yeah. So that's all I can say.
Maybe it is the difference in our personality that I like more restrictive clothing.
I agree. And I feel like it's also a lot of things regarding our own experiences shaped our personalities. So therefore it's like it makes sense for us to have different opinions.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, and also like how often do you wear a suit? How often do I wear a suit?
I love wearing suits.
You probably wear them more often than I do.
Orchestra
Well, yeah, you wear them quite often in orchestra. I really like wearing blazers, and then the most casual outfit ever. Except the only blazer I have is a tuxedo blazer, so it looks so odd.
You see blazers with casual outfits? I love it so much.
Yeah, I like that too.
You should borrow some of my blazers. I have a bunch.
Perhaps I will. I needed to go steal a book from you, but I didn't go do that.
Oh yeah, you can steal books and blazers. That sounds like the most epic series.
Books and blazers. But okay, speaking of which, I think we should talk about the most overused book names. Oh. Because we are the Bookbinders after all. So we have to talk about book names that we really, really hate. And I will start us off because I have a great idea for this. All right. This summer I turned pretty.
No,
Stop! Stop! Where does she turn pretty? And I remember asking you about it. I was like, Charlotte, where does she turn pretty?
She doesn't. It's just like...
She doesn't turn pretty.
Suddenly the men like her.
Yeah.
It's so misogynistic.
And also, I don't think it's suddenly the men... First of all, she's a 15-year-old girl. Second of all, it's not suddenly the men likes her. I think that Conrad and Jeremiah both liked her at multiple points throughout her life. However, it's just that it's only coming to her realization now.
Suddenly I stopped being so dense.
I mean, okay, like, I very much... I don't know, like, after watching the show, I'm gonna say that the books are a lot worse compared to the show.
The books are terrible.
I wouldn't say the books are necessarily terrible.
I would say it. I'm gonna say it.
I just want to say that the books are like a 3, and the show is like a solid 7.
I have not seen the show.
I think the show is worth watching to an extent.
I was burned by the books. They are not.
But the show has an aesthetic to it. The show has a little bit more, and I think the character development is really cool. I love how they made Jeremiah bi, and I really like how they kind of like added more depth to Cam Cameron, and all of these characters.
That was the only character that I liked when I read the books.
Why?
I don't know.
I hate Cam Cameron.
Really?
Yeah, Cam Cameron slander, please. Either Team Jeremiah or Team Conrad. Speaking of which, choose your team.
No. I don't really have a team. It's been years.
So are you team to Cam Cameron?
Sure. No.
Okay, you can do it like choose a team for Belly. Like choose who you think Isabella. Because I don't like calling her Belly.
Isabella, yeah, let's call her
Isabella. Is her name Isabella or is it Isabel? I can't remember.
I have no idea.
Okay, we're gonna call her Isabel because Belly is such a weird name. No, okay, choose who you think would be better for Isabel.
Jeremiah.
Yeah. I think Conrad is just not. He's like
the brooding.
I feel like she wouldn't be happy with Conrad. Conrad is just like a teenage crush, but Jeremiah is like endgame, kind of. Conrad. There's some things about Conrad that are just. But ultimately, I feel like Jeremiah is kind of endgame.
Well, didn't I spoil the ending for you? I mean, I don't know about the show ending, but like the book.
I read the last line. Like, I think we both read the first book fully, and then we read like half of the second book, and then we were just like, no, we can't do the third one. We both did that. We just did it at different times. You did it in like seventh grade, yeah. 7th grade. And I did it in like 8th grade.
I did it the summer before 7th grade, I think.
Summer before 7th grade was.
And they were like drinking, and I was like, oh my god, scandal.
I think when you gave me To All the Boys I Loved Before in 6th, I was like, what? But then I aged out of that quickly after reading multiple other books. So, but anyway, back to the topic that we were discussing about.
Suits?
No, not the other, the book names that we really hate.
Yeah. This is such a good topic. Now I can't think of any book.
I saw a TikTok on it recently. So that's how it came to me. And I'm pretty sure they mentioned Summer I Turned Pretty. But yeah, when even? Why? I mean, okay, let's actually come up with an alternate name.
Okay. Annoying girl.
No, like, definitely that's like the summary name. Like, rat controls human to cook food for his family. Ratatouille.
Yeah. It took me a second. I was like, wait, what is the subplot?
Also, me and my friends, we were discussing the chef's name, the little annoying one, and his name is like Jonah apparently.
In Ratatouille?
Yeah, the annoying chef, not Linguini, the one who annoys Linguini.
Oh.
His name is like Jonah, apparently. Jonah? Yeah, and I had no clue.
Also, what kind of name is Linguini?
Linguini? No, because Alfredo Linguini, that's his name.
Wow.
His name is Alfredo Linguini and his dad is Gusto.
What?
Gusto, I think it has something to do with like taste in Italian. I might be very wrong. I used to know a good amount of Italian. I don't know it anymore at this point. But yeah, Gusto, son.
Wait, he's Italian? Doesn't it take place in...
Oh, France! Oh my god! Oh, but isn't Gusto Italian?
Maybe.
And I think he might be like half Italian, half French, something like that.
He has red hair.
He does have red hair. But I think Linguini was. Well, it takes place in France. That's the whole point. Okay. It takes place in France, and then. Yeah, I think most of the characters are French. They're French. They speak French. Ratatouille. My French accent is so bad. Je ne parle français. Anyway. So. Yes. But what would we rename as The Summer I Turned Pretty?
Oh. Gotta get to the essence of what...
Yeah. I'm going to, because I can't remember what the book was too much, I'm renaming the show, and I would name the show like Hot Summer Nights. And I know that's really, really basic, but the whole show is basic, so.
That fits, actually, even for the book. Or like Cousin's Beach, yeah. But I mean, I feel like we need something that attracts the reader. And I mean, a lot of authors are not very good at creating names, which is why we're having this topic of discussion. It's very quirky and pick me girl chooses between two brothers this summer. Like the boys of Cousin Beach. That's good. It sounds like a romance, not like those Danielle Steele.
Well, it is.
Yeah,
it is a romance novel. So, but
the difference in titling quality between To All the Boys I Loved Before and then The Summer I Turned Pretty.
I think To All the Boys I Loved Before is a great title.
Yeah.
However, now looking back, I don't think. I mean, I liked the book at the time, but
at the time I liked it, but now I would not.
Yeah, I don't think it's a 4 or 5 for me at this point. Like, at a time, it was probably an 8.
Yeah, at the time, I was like, wow, this is
yeah
mind-opening.
Mind-opening.
I don't know. That was like...
I feel like that was the first teen book that I ever read.
Exactly.
So there was no, like, baseline judgment on, like, what to go off of. And now I think, like, if I was choosing, like, a really good teen book, I read a few months ago... I haven't been reading a lot of teen books. I've been reading a lot of adult novels. And if we're not counting something from Taylor Jenkins Reid, I would have to go with, like, We Were Liars. That I thought that was a really fascinating story. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it was a good story. It's probably, like, an 8.5 for me.
Oh, I've heard very good things about that. We Were Liars. I just haven't read it.
It's very, tragic. And I think that's why I liked it. It's realistic fiction. But I think the characters had a lot of attachment. Like, I could feel a lot of... I felt a personal attachment to a lot of the characters. To an extent. And I think... I mean, the writing was really, really good. I like the writing in the book. And I thought... I really liked the concept. Like, it was so misleading that I loved it. I love any book that tries to lead you in one way. And they're like, psych, no, what were you thinking? Like, like, something that really F's up the reader, if you know what I mean. Like,
those books...
Yeah. Like, it just... it makes the reader feel like, I was so stupid. Like, I missed that. And I'm going to spoil the Inheritance Games, so close your ears. And if you have read this, then if you want to read it, then close your ears. But, okay, I won't, like, fully spoil it. But there's something that Jameson's... And this is just the first book. But there's something that Jameson says to Avery in, like, the middle of the book, which is all revealed in the end as this, like, big he says it. He directly says exactly where he, like, messed up and, like, exactly what he did. And then, like, I didn't register it as the reader. Like, I was like, oh, yeah, because I didn't know the context then. But then after reading the whole thing, and then at the end he confesses it again, and then you read it, and you're like, wait, why didn't I remember that? Like, why didn't I remember this one little moment and, like, connect all the dots together? And then when he confesses it, you're like, oh my god, but he told the reader directly. So the reader is sometimes really, really stupid, and you can, like, zoom things right past them, because if they're reading a book, they're going to be thinking about actions in the future rather than actions of the past. So it's always about, like, the next word and the next paragraph and the next thing on the page rather than what happened in the past. So when you, like, regurgitate that, it kind of makes the reader feel like, why didn't I figure that out? And that, like, realization of the reader is like, I love that. That's what makes a book a book.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that the Inheritance Games was necessarily, like, an awesome, spectacular book. It was a solid 7.5 or something. But, I mean, I think I really like the mystery in it, so.
Interesting. Yeah. I would say for book titles that are not good, for a while, like, every single fantasy book, I think mostly YA, was like a blank of blank and blank.
A
like,
blank of blank.
Like a Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh, no.
A Court of Thorns and Roses. Like that exact...
No, A Court of Mist and Fury.
Yeah, exactly. That exact format for literally everything.
Okay, I've definitely heard of, like, concepts of threes when writing, where you have 3 items, and the 3 items are very valuable, and the concept is used heavily in lots of books. Some more heavily in others, some less heavily in some others. However, I do have to note that through all of this, anything that has that kind of title generally does not have a great story, and it gets boring after the first chapter. And I know a lot of people said that Court of Mist and Fury was really good. I haven't read it, but
yeah, that series, the whole series. Faye, it just never compelled me enough.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, see, the thing about titles is,
it has
as much as people want to say, oh, don't judge a book by its cover. Yes, everyone judge a book by its cover. We literally always do that.
If a book cover is not appealing to me, I don't...
Stop, no. And it has to have this, like name that makes you think. It has to be like, why is this book called this? Now I need to think about it. Like, a great example is, like, like they both die at the end, where it's like, I need to know now. I need to know, like, why did they both die at the end? What created this idea? Like, how is it? Are they really gonna both die at the end? Mm-hmm. And that, like, question. And I think Silvera actually talks about why he called the book that, and like how it connected, and like what the significance of it was, and like how he, like, whatever the semantics of that was. And you know, I was reading his essay at the end of the book, and I was like, wow, that's great. Like, that induces this, mm-hmm. like, want in the reader. So, yeah, any title that makes you think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Book titles that I don't like are things like, well, this is like children fiction, but like, you know, mm-hmm. the book Holes, and then Hoot.
Oh, yes.
Those, like, one word. Yeah. Especially if it's an H word.
No.
It's just, like, not.
I think a great title in comparison is The Girl Who Drank the Moon.
That title?
Great title, because why? How?
It's also a pretty good book. I remember at the time I quite liked
mm-hmm.
the book.
And the War That Saved My Life.
That book was my everything.
And do you remember when we read The Holiday House, was it?
Oh, yes.
No, there was a holiday house in the book. The book was called something else. It was called, like, A Thief. The Thief of Always. The Thief of Always.
Oh,
We read that at some point in fifth.
Yeah, it was
grade. That was
grade.
So long ago.
It was 5th grade. What did you think of that book?
Loved it. It was really. I loved it so much. I couldn't stop talking about it. I talked about it, like, to everyone, and I told my sister about it, and she was, like, a small child, and she freaked out. She was like, what? And I thought it was the coolest thing ever. But what about you?
No, that book made me claustrophobic.
Really?
It made me anxious, just,
mm-hmm.
having it read to me. I didn't like it.
Oh. I think that book was honestly one of the most, amazing plots that I've ever read, at least at the time, because you know, especially as a young child, like, if you're going to read a book that's not about, like, a teenage girl who breaks up with her boyfriend or something, like, you're gonna be quite fascinated about a book that has some sort of, like, different plot line. And that was the first, and maybe it was just me, because I've read a lot of, like, dystopian growing up, and I also read a lot of cliched random realistic fiction, and I feel like you had more reading. You were more of an avid reader than I was.
I don't know about that. I just, like, didn't read realistic fiction, really, or, like, the basic realistic fiction stuff, or dystopian, really.
Well, did you read stuff that had really good plots, like, growing up?
God, no.
I think I read a lot of, like, fantasy and all of that, so I think reading more of a horror story, and now I'm, like, very much into anything psychological horror. So growing up reading that one book, that, like, shifted my whole perspective on really good plots in books, because I felt like the whole time that book was being read to me, I didn't know what was going to happen next. I was always, like, left wondering, like, what?
Yeah, it was good driving. Yeah. I mean, I grew up mostly on, like, historical fiction.
Yeah, you did, which
is
definitely
why
had good plots.
In 5th grade, A Night Divided, that book, I loved it. Because it was so interesting, because it talked about history.
Yeah, I definitely like that too.
Though the plot was a little bit boring at times.
No, the thing is, I had no general history knowledge growing up, and I think only in the last year or two I gained a lot of general history knowledge. So I mean, I definitely understood, like, Berlin Wall and everything. Like, I understood, like, oh yeah, there's a Berlin Wall, but I didn't understand why they had it up, or, like, what that had to do with anything, why people had to sneak past it. So it was definitely a fascinating book, and honestly, I probably thought it was, like, an 8 out of 10 at the time. But yeah. I wish I'd, like, had a lot more context as you did.
You see, the psychological horror, The Thief of Always, that book, I liked that it kept you in suspense. I just didn't like the whole house thing, like, the fact that the house...
That was the best part.
Something about it made me uneasy as a child.
Really?
Like, now I probably wouldn't be that bothered by it, because I like psychological horror now. And, like, The Shining, the house is also pretty much alive in that book. Actually, that book was a bit of a letdown.
Really?
To be honest, yeah. Because it wasn't scary at all.
Oh.
But at the time, I just didn't like it.
See, I think the great thing about The Thief of Always was it wasn't really that the house was alive, but I remember there was this one guy who was like the leader of the house or something. Mm-hmm. He was like something in charge of the house.
The guy with the masks, right?
I don't remember what his name was. I don't even remember much of the book, but I remember really, really liking it. And I remember being freaked out. Like, that's the amazing thing, because I remember being scared to death. Like, I was absolutely freaked out. Couldn't sleep for multiple days. I couldn't my 10-year-old self, okay, because I was 9 or 10 in 5th grade, but I think we all were. Yeah. Oh my god. Well, however old I was in 5th grade. Anyway, I remember being absolutely freaked out, but then at the same time having this anticipation, wanting to understand more and understand. But I don't think we ever finished it, so that was.
I don't think we did.
Yeah, and I'll go read it again, but it freaked me out, that one girl who turned into a fish randomly.
Yeah, that was so weird.
See, there are some parts where I just don't like the plot because they just keep adding things. A great example of that is a Hindi movie called Pathaan. Where did the virus come from? Please, someone answer that. But they just added a random virus into a spy movie. There's your context. But yeah, I feel people sometimes just want to add more into a plot just for the sake of the plot.
Yeah.
Exo Kitty.
Just to make it interesting, they add a bunch of random stuff. And it's just
but I feel The Thief of Always, the way they just randomly added in these things that you just weren't expecting, twists and turns, it made it feel like you were literally in the house. I felt so freaked out. And the visuals
were very good.
Out.
I was never really freaked out by the content, just the fact that it made me feel so claustrophobic, because I read R.L. Stine when I was in 2nd grade, the Goosebumps series.
Oh yes, of course.
So it wasn't on that sort of scale in terms of horror. It's psychological horror. It didn't scare me per se. It just made me feel very claustrophobic, which now that in retrospect, it's a very cool effect to be able to physically feel closed in by words that someone's reading to you. That's a cool effect.
See, I'm not claustrophobic like that. I'm very claustrophobic as in being stuck in this very enclosed small space. Not elevators, but even smaller. So I'm not majorly claustrophobic. But I mean, some stories are definitely very freaky. And going off of what we were reading while we grew up, that was very freaky. I remember reading that one series about do you remember the one where it was the teenage boy and he started out as a cat and he transformed into a human? It wasn't called the Transformers, but it was called. Hold on, I need to Google it for you now. It was called.
Transformed to a cat?
No, I can't remember the name of it. It was called Metamorphosis.
Oh,
hold on.
Oh yeah.
How do you spell that?
I think I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, it's the one with the kid, or it was a girl. Oh, right here. The Secret, huh? Whatever this is. Anamorphosis.
Oh, yeah.
Morphosis. Okay, here we go. Images. I just need to find the correct one. What is this? Why was I reading? This is a picture of a girl turning into a squid. Why was I reading this when not the beaver one?
No, oh my god.
What is this? It's so freaky. He turned into a horse.
I remember this cover vividly.
No.
In, my 4th grade class.
His eyes look so creepy.
You just see those in the library what is this?
No, this is so weird.
Why?
Alligator?
Is it an alligator? Oh my god.
Yeah. And this is just I don't even know. What animal is this? Anamorphosis 33. Go Google it. It's really weird.
What animal is it? Is it?
I don't know. What animal is this?
Hello, the almost human form.
Yeah, it looks like an alienish, eagle, an alien eagle.
What? I don't.
What?
Were the books good at least?
Where should I even start? Oh my god. Whoa. Just no. Mm-hmm.
See.
Yeah. Probably not.
Goosebumps were good. I remember liking Goosebumps. At least when I was little. Really? I liked the TV show. I remember several times on Friday nights I would go home and just be like, all right, today I'm gonna scare myself.
Oh.
Because when I was little, this TV show was terrifying.
Oh, okay. I don't think I had a drive towards horror when I was younger, but I don't think I have a drive towards horror too much now. But I do like it. I like a good horror novel. So recommend to us horror novels and we'll read them and then share it.
Except unless it's It. I can't read it. It's like a brick.
Is it boring?
No, it's the book about the clown, Pennywise.
No, I know what it is.
It's just like so thick, and I can't imagine how you could read that much about one clown.
Oh. I mean, I'm down to read anything, honestly. Unless it's really bad. Like, if you're gonna give me, like, what was the book? 69 by Colleen Hoover? Probably I won't read that.
I'm hesitant to read Colleen Hoover. I guess not really my kind of book at all.
It's definitely not your kind of book. No, probably not. Yeah, I feel like Colleen Hoover has some... okay, we'll talk about Colleen Hoover later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Going back to the original topic. Again.
Yes.
I was going to say any fantasy book with kingdom. Kingdom of the dancers. Kingdom of portrait. No, I will not be reading your book if you call your book Kingdom. No, I'm down to read any book, but I won't be appealed. Like, okay. If a writer came to me and was like, I wrote this book, it's called Kingdom of yada yada yada, I'd be like, sounds boring. I don't think I want to read it. Also, my view on you as a writer is you're basic. So yeah, go, bye. I mean, yeah, probably don't write a book with the title Kingdom unless it's like something really obscure, like Kingdom of Oranges. Then you might be interesting me. Then you might be interesting me. So everything has a caveat, my friends. Yeah. Everything has a caveat.
One of those middle grade books where it's like the quirky guy who goes to the Kingdom of Orange.
No, not the Gregor of the Overlanders. Not that book. Wait, you remember when I read that and then I ranted to you about like 2 hours, like how it was horrible? It was so bad.
What was that book we read in 4th grade with like the tigers? Tiger Rising?
Tiger Rising.
No, that book
I loved it and I hated it and I loved it and I hated it.
Exactly.
And I loved it and I hated it.
I still vividly remember Sistine. And I met someone whose name was Sistine and I was like, I'm living this book.
I think that book freaked me out multiple times because first of all, I can't even recollect what it was about.
It was this quirky guy had a tiger in a cage by his motel house.
And then it like chased him multiple times.
Yeah, right? And then it like broke free.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, I really do love my 4th grade teacher. However, I can't understand what was the appeal about the book. No. Maybe it wasn't appropriate for 4th graders because they didn't understand the literature depth.
Maybe.
Yeah. But I guess it might need a reread if it's that good. So I mean, if we slander any books that you guys really like, I want you to write a paragraph on why we should reread it and tell us why it's worth rereading and what makes it so good. And then we might consider rereading it and then reshare our opinions here. Because I'm always open to like rereading anything and then having a new opinion or having a new outlook. So, I mean, that's what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're not like perfect people.
I'm not going to slander a lot of books.
And we might slander a lot of books and we might give a lot of love to some books. So, it's not a bad thing. We're definitely not trying to be mean to your favorite books. We just need reasons on why a certain book is good, and then we can judge it with more knowledge, because we are not all knowledge powerful bookbinders. We're just the regular bookbinders.
You know another title that like just immediately shuts off my brain? This Savage Song. It's a book that about like some dude who uses music as a power to fight something. But the title This Savage Song is just like, I can't. Number
this savage song.
It's so cringy. It sounds like something someone would say in like 2016 talking about their favorite song. This savage song.
Okay, you know the energy that gives? like, there was this one book that I remember was given to me for free, actually, over the pandemic, was it? No, maybe it wasn't, I don't know. But, yeah, I think it was in book club, and it was given to me for free, like, a part of the book club. Our school had a book club at some point, and it was a book called You Should See Me in a Crown. The book sucked. I personally didn't like it. Like, the romance was subpar. The main character was subpar. Everything was subpar about
The title
was... No. I mean, I like Billie Eilish to some extent, but I just don't...
Okay, but
know.
The book is a title... I was like, is it related to the Billie Eilish song?
Yeah, I don't really think it's very much related. Also, the crown is a metaphorical crown, so... I think it's a metaphorical crown because I'm pretty sure I got bored after a little bit of reading the book.
Isn't the whole point is like she's trying to be homecoming queen and that's
yeah.
I've only heard good things about that book. It's interesting that you didn't like it.
Really? I just it's not my vibe.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not into a lot of realistic fiction, and especially because the romance just underwhelmed me a lot. Like, there was no attachment to any of the characters that I felt regarding the romance. Like, I didn't feel like I was necessarily shipping the romance.
Oh, I see.
And I was just not into it. I was kind of just like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like, it's chilling. Like, I need some good, better sapphic romance recommendations.
Oh, it's sapphic, really?
Yes, I think it's sapphic.
Is it?
I believe it is.
I think just more good sapphic novels need to be written.
Yeah, I think some more, especially not cliched or realistic fiction, and not like overpowering fantasy, but rather something like corrupted.
Or at all. Like, I mean, how many sapphic novels can I name? I can probably name 2. And
I can name 0. I can name a lot of reverse sapphic. No, I can name a lot of like random gay novels, but not like anything necessarily sapphic.
Okay, I can name 3.
Okay, go.
7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Yes.
What did he call it? It's called Last Night at the Telegraph Club.
Oh yes, you read that.
Which Kale really didn't like. And I was...
Shout out to Kale again.
Okay, sorry. That one... Okay, Kale didn't like my book, and I didn't like Kale's book.
Well, then it worked out.
Yeah. And then whatever Kale's book is called, This Poison Heart, I don't know.
That's also sapphic, right?
Yeah.
Because you were reading it.
Low-key, I wasn't actually reading it.
Oh, okay. Exposed.
No, okay, I was...
Bye.
I was reading
Kale
it, just
probably
not...
doesn't watch our podcast anyway.
I was reading it, just not mentally processing it.
Yeah. What was the genre? Fantasy?
Yes, it's fantasy. It's like garden fantasy.
Garden fantasy, my god.
But the red...
No slander. But...
like, it doesn't have the beautiful descriptions of imagery. Mm-hmm. And also the plot is just like... It's boring. It's just boring. It's boring, and I don't like the writing style, and I don't like any of the characters, because they feel so cliche.
Mm-hmm. See, I think, well, to touch on a little bit of The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, regarding that novel, I think it was beautifully written. It's just that I felt like the main romance, like, well, Evelyn and Celia in the book, like, as much as I love them together, as much as I very much ship their, like, romance, I think that their romance is great, I just feel like I wish there was more, like, it was too much push and pull. Like, I wish there was more, like... Well, actually, I think there was less push and pull. And I kind of wish there was more push and pull. And I wish there were more like, caveats in their relationship. Like, I feel like there was, like, a caveat in the end where there was, like, that one last... Max? Mm-hmm. Was it Max? I think it was Max. I read the book back in December, so I can't remember now. But, I mean, I felt like there were, like... I wish there were more little caveat parts where it kind of switched up, or like something like they were like, I mean, it was overall very, very good. It was a 9 out of 10 book for me. But I think in a way, I just wish there was more like solo moments that they had where they could like genuinely enjoy their romance.
Yeah.
I felt like everything was just so pressurized that we didn't get to focus so much on the romance, and rather we were like scandals and scandals and scandals and scandals, and the next page what's gonna happen, and the next page what's gonna happen, and who she's gonna date next. I'm like, I mean, amazing book, amazing writing. Props to you, TJR. I mean, she's a great author, but I just wish we had like a few more romance parts where we just got to see their relationship.
Or just like, I mean, with any of the husbands really, except there was basically the only scene I can remember that was just like a little fraction of moment when it's not like scandal and pressure and fame this and fame that, which I get could mimic like how her life actually was.
Yeah, for sure.
But there was that one moment with one of her husbands, I can't remember his name now, with the keys when he's drunk.
Oh, Rex, right?
Rex, yeah.
I loved Rex so much. I thought he was so hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. 1 second. Okay, we'll be back. All right, Rex North. I thought he was just like the cutest thing ever. I mean, I definitely didn't. I mean, I wasn't like, oh, Evelyn, you should be with Rex North, but I kind of wish she gave him more, because he kind of deserved more. Because I really liked him. I thought he was really nice. Yeah. Like, he was probably one of my favorite husbands after Harry.
Harry was, of course.
Harry.
The ending with Harry.
The whole book was, I just love how authentic it was in a way, because it felt like we really got to see the story of like a star, but in a new outlook. Like, I feel like I would have never thought of something like this, and I really like the idea, because, you know, at face value, when you think about the plot, it's like, Star has 7 husbands, but really she likes women. Like, it's not that compelling necessarily, but the way
it was written.
Yeah, the way it was written.
That's why I wasn't compelled to read The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo until you, like, recommended it to me, because you're like, it's good. Yeah.
But did you know the whole plot of it?
I knew the concept, like, because I read the back. And
but it didn't say that on the back.
Well, like, it didn't say she loved women on the back, obviously, because that was the whole, like, mind-blowing plot thing.
It was, like, the mid-plot twist.
Yeah.
But I think an interesting thing about that book is there was no specific, like, rising action necessarily, which I kind of like. I kind of like books that keep you at your edge of the seat, like, throughout the whole
It's not
book.
like you can feel the plot going up and down.
Like, I remember in our English classes growing up, we would always see the little, like... little hill. But I feel like good books are not hills. Good books are like stock markets.
Yes.
They're stock market crashes. And good books are stock market crashes. Because, I mean, there's so much, it should be a roller coaster. It shouldn't just be, and it's not like a roller coaster, because roller coaster is smooth. It should be a jagged kind of thing where you're like
one of those wooden coasters.
Yeah,
wooden coaster, so you can like feel it.
Yeah.
I will say, for Evelyn, I did not like the whole final plot twist with Monique.
Yeah, I thought that was like, kind of...
It just was thrown in there for the shock factor. With
It was definitely a shock factor.
It was a shock factor, but, like, it didn't really make any difference.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't feel impressed by it. I was just like, this seems unnecessary.
No, I feel like I was quite impressed by it at the time, but now that I'm thinking about it, it really dawned on me that it's a sad thing. Like, it's not, like, a shock, really. It just makes me really, really sad.
Yeah.
And I think it was fine for the author to add in that last little shock factor, because honestly, like, if you're having such a, like, great, amazing book, you kind of need that one last, like, signing off thing for your reader.
I mean, I wouldn't have thought it necessary. Like, if that book had finished without that last final shock reveal, I would have still liked it.
Really?
Like, it added nothing to me. For me, it might have even subtracted a bit. Honestly, because I just didn't like it. It felt so unnecessary.
I don't know. I don't think I, like, felt like something like it was great necessarily, but it didn't feel like it was super bad. I just thought it was, like, kind of this alright, like, okay, this is... I mean, I felt really sad about it, though. Like, it made me feel, like, super sad that, you know...
See, I had no emotional attachment to Monique because we barely got any time with her.
We did.
So
really.
she was like, she was sad, but I feel nothing because... I barely know this person.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point that you make when I actually saw something, like, the other day, like it was, like, this TikTok, which was, like, writers name your like first 5 characters of your book, and you know, if you name like a bunch of side characters as like the first 5 characters you can think of, those are probably like, you shouldn't be emphasizing those characters so much. So I mean, it's just like, I guess maybe we should have been emphasizing Monique more, or we should have just not given Monique a plot at all.
Yeah.
But I like that connection. Like, I like the fact that it connected back.
I like the fact that it connected back, definitely. I think you could just have found a more interesting way to connect. Because, I mean, as it was sort of interesting. It just wasn't all that compelling.
Ultimately.
I mean, now that I remember more of it, it's better than I previously remembered. But Monique's whole plot, I just didn't feel that compelled by. The whole, like, her husband and the coffee table.
The coffee table. That was like, coffee table? I don't know. I was just kind of like, about it. But, I mean, definitely, I found the book to be, like, a great, I mean, yeah. And I think recently a great genre that I've been personally obsessed with. And I wish there were more books on this genre. And I feel like people are branching into this, like, very specific genre, which is, like, this branch between, like, sci-fi and, like, a small element of, like, a realistic fiction world. So a world where it's humans who live a realistic teenage life, or whatever kind of life they... Like, Evelyn Hugo is a realistic fiction at its heart, but there's so much other depth to it that makes it all amazing. But that realistic fiction world with this, like, element of, like, futuristic, so sci-fi, and then, like, this, like, horrific plot twisty, like, mind-boggling corruption concept where it's like, if it's this realistic fiction setting, but if we add this, like, mind-twisting, like, unrealistic realistic thing, like, for an example, here's an example to understand what I'm getting at here. Okay, like, set in a realistic world, meaning it's just your regular world, but then if it was a sci-fi, it's like creating this, like, weird substance that solves, like, world hunger or something, like, and everybody eats it, or I don't know, that's like the weirdest plot idea ever. But you know, I mean, and it sounds odd, but it's like set in this realistic world, so it creates all these realistic plot lines, but then, like, this doesn't sound realistic at all in some ways. So, and then, like, imagine if, like, the food really was poisoning all of the people, so there's your corruption part of it.
I very much like that idea. It actually reminds me of the thing that I'm supposed to be writing that I haven't written.
Well, I kind of like what you're writing. It's good.
I'm not writing it, though.
Hey,
no.
You know,
I haven't written in, like, 2 days.
Oh, that's not bad. That's good.
How
are you doing?
I can't even tell you what my last line is.
No, well, I mean, but as long as you just keep going, you're fine. You're fine.
But I have it all planned out now, so hopefully I can write more. But
hopefully.
Hopefully, I just need to actually do it.
Yes, guys. So, I mean, we could wrap the episode now because we've kind of come to a closure.
Yes. So that was the first episode of Why Are You Still Awake?
Why are you still
Why
awake?
are we still awake?
Why are you awake? I slept at like 3, I'm pretty sure.
I want to take a nap.
Should not be doing this. Anyway, please leave anything you want us to talk about in the comments below. We will talk about anything that you give us because we are the Bookbinders and that's what we do.
Yeah.
We love hearing from you guys, so share your own opinions, share your own thoughts. We will debate those as well. And I mean, ask us anything. That's honestly, what this is for. So ask us anything. Tell us what you want us to analyze next.
Yeah.
Just in general, Lana, Taylor, any song. The Beatles.
Oh my god, the Beatles.
The Beatles.
I'm in favor of that. Tom Petty, of course. Anything. Bob Dylan,
yeah. Great lyrics.
I'm having a classic rock phase at the moment.
Okay. I'm having a rap phase right now. But I think it may not be a good idea to analyze some rap. Unless you guys want us to analyze rap.
We can. We will.
We will. We definitely will.
I mean, depending on the lyrics.
Depending on what kind of rap it is and how intense the lyrics are.
Yes.
And if it's about one topic in one or two topics in particular that we just don't want to talk about, we won't talk about it. Yeah. That's all for you today. So
thanks for listening to this
hour of
solid chaos.
Yay!